So does that demand and that liquidity not put a floor on the extent to which the market can drop this time compared to last time?
Yes, it does. The question is, where's the floor? That's the $99,000 question. It's like, I literally got 2 emails this morning from people that say, hey, I know you guys are specializing in depressed real estate. I'd love to buy some. We've got plenty of cash. And, they said, what would you recommend I do? And one of the things that I recommend people do, and this is something I learned in 1991, if you start buying, once you can start buying, and even though the prices might go further down, you keep buying as the trough gets lower, and then you stop buying once the trough then corrects. Because some people are good at it, but I'm not really good at it, and most people are not really good at telling what the floor is, and that's my point. But right now, a hotel owner called me a couple weeks ago and said, I have a hotel, it's worth about $10 million. I said, worth $10 million when? And they said, well, that was my last appraisal. And I said, is it open? They said, no, it's closed. I said, well, they said, can you value it for me? And I go, sure, we can run numbers based on your last occupancy report and figure out what it would have been worth on March 1st. But if it's closed, I don't know what someone would pay you for it. And long story short, he kind of said, well, what do? I got like $6 million of debt on the property. And I said, well, 2 things. One, you might want to actually get bids on it to figure out what someone will pay you. Maybe someone will pay you 7, maybe someone will pay you 4. And then there's another ugly thing out there that everyone forgets. And you said you had worked at banks, so you'll understand this. And a lot of people forget. There's this ugly thing called debt forgiveness tax. And whenever you have debt forgiveness, you then get to bankruptcies and workouts and then all other ways of handing properties back for investors that invest in the property. And whether that's an individual investor or a large scale investor, there's so many issues going around right now. There's definitely a floor on capital, and certainly you can do things like some of the 1031s with the zero returns to offset some of that. But it's still, we haven't seen anything coming of any significance yet. And it's just and I don't know where the floor is. If I had to guess a floor, I think that in the 30 to 50% to value is I think private capital steps in at that number. But, I can remember in the 90s, people were paying, I remember selling an office building for $10 a square foot that was valued at 100. So at some level, I don't know if it's going to get that bad.